She lets me.
Some more stickers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your city truck?
Yeah.
You can put your ISA license on there, sure.
Okay. I'll get some big stickers then.
Get that with the cricket.
Yeah.
You got way cool.
I feel way cooler.
You've been asking for a safety vest that say urban forestry on the back. I haven't been able to get those yet.
Yeah.
But
Right? So, because Tanya especially likes to honk at me
Yeah.
when she's driving around town
Yeah.
when I'm standing in the road. So
That's not surprising.
I want people to see who I am.
That's right.
So
My little yellow car.
clock has struck 7 p.m.
0 attendees? Yes, we can go ahead and start if Mike wants to try. We have quorum.
Yes, we do have a quorum.
Well, let's bring, the Tumwater Tree Board meeting for May 11th, 2026 to order. Go through, we don't have anybody online, do we?
Not that I see, no.
Mike just pulled in.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Of course. Hopefully I'll talk slow. Roll call. All right, I'll go first. Try to grab some hair. Here.
Vertical ball here.
Exit. Parking lot. Go.
We are also joined by Don Trosper from the Historic Preservation Commission.
Yep.
A few months ago, I had forgotten that we talked about having you at these meetings, and then I was reminded, and now he is here. He has been added to the packet distribution.
I make every meeting of yours, but we meet more often than our board does.
Welcome, Don. And obviously, also the mayor, Marietta Dahlhoff. Hey, Mike. So I had the introduction to Mayor Dahlhoff at top of the agenda, so she could go do all the things that she's busy with working on. So productive and engaged. Productive and engaged.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So if you want to introduce yourself to the tree board can introduce themselves to you. If you want to have any discourse, open forum for that.
Yeah, I'm always open to questions. So I have 3 areas that are my focus and is the reason why I ran for mayor. One, I love being on council and I love doing policy. I love getting into the weeds, but I really wanted to serve as mayor to focus on the rural urban lifestyle, community health, which means code enforcement to me, and redevelopment of the Brewery District and Capitol Boulevard. So those are my 3 top priorities. And along that comes trees, right? So what does that look like? I don't like to drive by and see everything clear cut. The recent example is this weekend went by where the horse farm is past Persop Village, where the horse farm was.
Yeah.
Completely clear cut. And I don't understand how that happened. So what I would like to focus on as we move forward is how are we intentional about our building and where we're building, and to act like our buildings have always been here. So just because it's easier to clear cut doesn't mean we should clear cut. So that's something I would like your help with, is how do we incentivize different things? How do we make things pencil for developers and still maintain our character? Which means also focusing on Capitol Boulevard and the Brewery District, doing infill and density there. And then code enforcement is a big thing. Staff are working on that. That's going to be coming back to council July, August, to expand it just from police to applicable departments. We are also getting smart sheet licenses where we can do something where council will have a link to put in stuff that they see for the public to put in issues. And then it'll go through like our SharePoint where it will be assigned departments and it's going to be a whole collective team. And so the goal is if you would not be okay living next to something, then it's not okay for your neighbor to live next to it. The example is a property near Eagles Landing, where there's a lot of burning of tires, burning of vehicles, burning of RVs, a lot of substance use going on, and it's unacceptable. So I get a lot of calls, and apparently fire went there 3 times this weekend. Skip McConkey's property 3 times. You're right there.
Yeah.
So that's going to be top of the list, but it also includes the Brewery District. The owner, Mr. C.K. Patel, has not signed the voluntary compliance agreement. So that's unacceptable. So those are the things that we're working on. Any comments, questions?
How about the old brewery down below? Any contact with them?
The historic?
Yeah.
No, not since the new owners.
Okay.
But there's a lot of compliance. There's a therapist, Marlis, who works in that building right there, and she sends photos weekly of the doors open again, the windows, the plywood, clandestine drop-off of couches, RVs parking there. So we get photos weekly that I then send to police. They go out there. So that owner has not been as responsive as we would like, so that's ongoing conversation that is also on the list.
Are they local people, or are they somewhere or something?
It was the family, right? And they were in Kent, and it's some Rand? Probably. Which another issue is the Department of Transportation, the old headquarters. Our police will not go in there. And so that demolition is scheduled for July, August, alongside saving the frieze and the bronze markers. It's 8 or 9 buildings that they'll demolish to the foundation. There's a lot of stuff happening.
What's environmental cleanup look like at that site?
So they're still in the phase 2 of the environmental impact study, so about another 2 years, I think, I would guess. But I say everything is 2 years. So maybe 18 months to figure out. Realistically, it's gonna be a brownfield site because of the underground storage tanks, which actually helps us to get access to other funding. And then Tumwater has first right of refusal for that property. So I would love to see a local developer come in and do retail and housing up above. That's what I would love.
I have contacted WashDOT about the heritage trees on site, just so you know, everybody knows.
The wine trees out front?
There's the 4 London Plains and the 1 Deodar Cedar, Deodar, however you pronounce it. And, we've been in talks about mitigation practices, pruning, everything we can to save the tree. I'll be on site for all the work that's being done. They're gonna remove the ivy. They've actually added into all the plans because they didn't have it in there before. So I've been having a lot of back and forth with everybody about that.
And that's a good catch on Brian's part.
Is because our demolition code doesn't reference it.
Road improvement.
Through,
The roundabout we need there?
oh, well, that's interesting. I have no idea what you're talking about, so.
I remind,
Yeah, I have not
Those
seen
are
anything.
arbitrary designs, so that's a good catch to follow up with
Yeah.
staff.
I've followed up with, our transportation engineering department, director, Brandon, about that multiple times.
Okay, yeah.
Remind him that we have GIS data of where all of the heritage trees are, and that our first intent is to not remove willy-nilly.
I honestly had no idea that we even had a roundabout going, so that's news to me, so that's something
I
else.
just heard that there's 12 more coming to Tumwater.
Yeah.
I
I knew
think
there's a
it's
lot.
like 6, but
Yeah.
12 just sounds more dramatic.
Yeah.
The Tumwater Boulevard, which will always be air industrial, all the way down like where South Pacific, Western meets down that way, all the way down Capitol.
Okay.
Mayor, have you had the opportunity to meet all of our serving tree board?
No, I just know Tanya, and it's been so long since I've seen you. I know, I literally walked over and saw her yesterday.
If you all would like to introduce yourselves to the mayor, share relevant tree issues, your experience that brings you to the board.
You start.
Sure. Okay, this way. My name is Brody Cobalt. It's really nice to meet you. I'm glad my boat helped get you here.
Yeah, Brody. I mean, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brody.
Thanks for coming. Been a tree board member for 4-ish years, I think.
Hey, Bucky.
I wear a couple of hats in our community. I work for Department of Natural Resources.
Oh, yeah.
My day job. I started in forestry, classically trained in forestry, made the move to policy, so now I serve as the recreation policy manager for the state. Dabbled briefly in the legislative side of that department, and now I'm happy in policy as a sweet middle spot. I also am a small business owner in the community. I own South Sound Wood. We salvage local urban trees that have to come down and we turn them into furniture.
Love that.
Yeah. I do have a quick topic while you're here. I don't know if we need to get to it now or after the introduction. So, recently, I live on the old side of Tumwater Hill, very near Mr. Jackson. And I had a bunch of neighbors come up to me in the last couple of days, very concerned about the public action notice that was posted and for development of, an unnamed 2 or 3 acre field at the top of Tumwater Hill. It's proposed to be developed by a company that's based in Texas. The sign went up with the land action notice, and that's supposedly started the 14-day public comment period, but we didn't get anything in the mail for a few days later. So there's a lot of confusion of what counts as notice to initiate that 14-day. I've been unable to find anything on the city's website in terms of like what the process is. I've been struggling answering questions from my community members on that. But there's also just a general feeling of like, this is being done in haste because we've got a lot of things in the works that if we jump this review now, we're kind of shooting our future selves in the foot. So a couple things I want to make you aware of is like, we do have some municipal code revisions right around the corner that we've all been working really hard on in terms of what we're going to save for the urban forest.
Right?
There's a ton of very old trees on this property. None of the schematics show any of those standing. There's really low viability for any of them under the current proposal. So that's bad news. But we have this thing in the works that we're really excited to bring to the city. And so just that's something to be aware of. The sequencing is really tough on that. And then the Parks and Rec element of the comprehensive plan is also right around the corner. That's my understanding at least. And this is like a green oasis in a completely developed area that the community really wants to provide input along the lines of this would make a great park where there isn't a park. There's a no need for a park.
Right.
That element of the plan is around the corner. If we develop it now, we have no chance.
They'll never get it back, yeah.
Right. The last one is, it's my understanding at least, is the housing planner position for the city is currently vacant. So there's questions like,
They just filled it.
oh, it is filled. Okay,
I'll see today.
great news. Even so, with a brand new person in that position making, a pretty significant decision like this in short order, just seems a little hasty, and the community has a lot of questions. Just bringing those to you now here in this
I love that, Brody.
game space.
My question for staff is, what does that look like when areas like this come up? What does it look like, the process for you to talk to Alex in permitting?
I have a standing appointment with Alex. We talk every Wednesday. We go back and forth with a lot of questions. But I'm trying to think of what development's going on top of Tumwater Hill, a 3-acre site. I'm curious if this was approved before I even started.
I can give you the address. It's on 5th Avenue, right below the cell towers, 11 townhome structures. So unclear if that's 11 residents or if that's more.
Yeah.
There's already a lot of like traffic concerns and noise.
It's at the end of that dead end kind of road there. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about now.
Will you
Okay.
follow up with Alex and your?
Yeah, no, of course. And we have open dialogue all the time when we go over these things. But I'm thinking, yeah. Thank you. Always, don't ever hesitate to reach out. Yeah.
Ospreys all the time. There's owls all the time. There's a bear this spring. There's coyotes nesting there now.
Fantastic.
There's 10 deer every night. The community's very worked up. They're very concerned that the process seems to be moving maybe faster than it should be. So just wanted to.
Just, I never hear that something's moving too fast. So.
Yeah.
The other thing is linking that with Chuck and the Metropolitan Park District. So
Oh,
if there is a development and the pre-application has been submitted, is there room, right, because all those schematics are arbitrary, to what does that look like for green space?
Yeah, absolutely. We can explore that option, and I can ask questions. Yeah, happy to do that. I'm good at doing that. So
And then can you follow up with an email to the tree board?
yeah.
Thanks for hearing me.
Yeah, so that would be also, Alex, Chuck, and then, because I think there
Okay.
needs to be some educational opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, there's neighbors that are a block and a half away who have known
I didn't get
noticed
anything.
at all and didn't see the sign and just, happened to knock on their door and.
What we've learned from the East Street extension, the neighborhood there is like the arbitrary drawing of where the East Street extension would go. It's make-believe, but some of it's going in someone's backyard. So what staff have done is collected all those neighbors and all this information, so when things are applicable, you get a heads up and you're pulled in. So I think this is a neighborhood where we need to gather all the names.
It seems
and
like
start-
that is happening here, maybe there's some holes.
Yes.
There are backyards that will be affected.
Right, so this is the perfect time to start collecting information, names, so then we can do a little bit of outreach. Perfect. That's the kind of stuff I love to hear.
Great, thank you.
No questions about the Davis Maker Gary Oak tree? Getting sued now. I'm getting sued now, so.
Oh, the name was switched.
Yeah,
Lucky you.
yeah. Court date in June?
Which street is the notice on?
There's a 4x4 post sign.
On which street?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's on Fifth.
On Fifth.
Do you know the Miller's Farm on top?
Yeah.
There's a 5-acre parcel, they sold 3 in 19 to a
19,
developer
sure.
in Texas.
When I first
They
started,
shell
I was thinking
company,
that, but I wasn't.
overseas investor. The 2 acres below that is a mixed pasture with a lot of very mature Doug fir.
Thank you for the heads up.
Thank you.
Action items.
I have a question about,
Good time, yeah.
Tanya.
39 years at the state,
We're neighbors.
25 DOC. Gary Oak.
Yeah. No, no.
It's still active.
My husband told me something about Washington State Patrol, that there, read some article about a bunch of heritage trees were upset because there's this many acres there was by Washington State Patrol that, supposed to be developed, there's a bunch of heritage trees on there, and people are all.
Is that the one in the UGA
Where's the Washington State Patrol?
Some Tumwater.
by the airport?
By the airport? It's
Yeah.
gotta be in the UGA, yeah.
Yeah, so they're, heritage trees under the county's code, which are large. I can let Brian speak to it.
Yeah, so any tree over 48 inches in diameter, are considered, heritage trees. So they don't get any kind of, to the county, sorry. Anytime they assess a site, they have different rankings for different sizes. So, a significant tree is anything over 6 inches, a landmark tree is anything over 24, and a heritage tree is anything over 48. So unfortunately, the site does have a lot of big trees on it, but it's in our UGA, and we provided a lot of comments to Thurston County, but it's Thurston County's development. So there's not a whole lot we can do.
Oh, that's the one Lynn Fitzhugh has been, okay.
So, there's a lot of big old trees there, but, this is not a city of Tumwater project, and we can only provide comments. So, and, yeah, and we provided a lot of other documentation, and I went and talked to them. You know, we pursued a lot of different things, but again, this is a Thurston County project.
And a question for the mayor, for the horse farm that you saw where it was just clear cut, because I just saw that last week and I was shocked.
Yeah.
What can we, I mean, I know the TMC code is coming, we're gonna be rewriting that, but isn't that gonna take a while before we can, I know we're gonna work on it, rewrite it, but are we gonna fast track it to be in place, or it's gonna take a while, right, to?
Anything with like code revisions, I always guesstimate 18 months from when you get it to when council votes on it, 18 months.
I believe we're expecting to bring it to council in February, early February of next year. Hopefully, the final draft to council for adoption. My understanding is that when we have the joint tree board, planning commission, city council tour on the 28th of July, that will have the draft ordinances in that packet, is my understanding.
But to kind of assuage your feelings on this, a lot of stuff happened and was approved really before I was able to review things. And I've been working a lot with developers, and we've had some really successful redesigns of whole neighborhoods to save trees on site. So, you know, I've only been really getting my hands on plans for the last like 6-7 months. So, you know, some stuff did happen recently, and this stuff might have been approved a year or, a year plus ago. and they're just now starting to really kind of dig into it. So, you know, it's unfortunate to see. It is jarring. I drove by there too, and I was like, oh gosh. But then that helps empower me to really focus on these things because, like we all know, 85% of our trees are 25 years or younger in Tumwater. To really try to save the older stuff we got. And so I really tried to hone in on that with developers, and I've had a lot of long conversations with them, and we've had some pretty significant changes in some upcoming developments. So.
And one more question along 70th. There's some really big trees on that property.
Which one, the
The
one,
one, Anderson Place,
yeah,
how that going? There's one, look at the, right across from.
like Lively Lazy.
Oh yeah, that new
With the
development
roll-
going in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have tree retention stuff planned. We've only seen like feasibility. Hasn't been any, I don't believe, any true submittals yet.
I'm meeting with
So-
Sid Jones on Thursday, because there's some code enforcement challenges. So I'm gonna
Nice.
learn more about that.
There's some beautiful trees on that property, and a lot of people, like Brody was saying, like, in our neighborhood, saying, there's a lot of people, the roads are really crowded, and all, it's just, you guys gotta go to city council meetings, get involved, and, you know, they think, I don't know about you, but in my neighborhood, they think being on the tree board, we have all this power, and it's like, no, we're volunteers, and,
We have a lot of influence.
yeah, but we can't.
Well, it's that juggling act that I am trying to work on and work with council and staff and all the boards and commission is we have mandates to do 9,000 homes, right, in 20 years. So I extend that to 18,000 homes in 40 years. It took us 150 years to get to the 17,000 homes we have now, and you want us to double that in 40 years. And that's mandated. So
When you say mandate state, you mean?
yeah. So where do we do that? That's what I would like to incentivize density on Capitol Boulevard, knowing that's still gonna happen, right? But how can we be more intentional? Whereas Brian, right, is like the Rob Rice one, where they were gonna clear cut, but then you're like, what, this is already clear, so flip it.
In
Brian
a
brought that
nutshell.
to their attention.
Yeah, no, it's not only that, it's also a lot of other developments. You know, we're putting an end to kind of skinny little tree tracks everywhere, and we're trying to clump trees together, and like I said, meeting with these developers and having long conversations, and it's happening all the time. So, but that was a very nice, thank you. That was a nice example where they were gonna clear the area that was forested and then plant the area that was cleared. I was like, can we just rotate this around? And they're like, oh, well,
We've
maybe.
never had this before.
And so they're now saving, it's like a 5 or 6 acre parcel in development, and it's most heavily tree parked. And they're gonna be putting a lot of additional BMPs to protect the trees, because they're all old cedars and maples, which are a little bit more construction intolerant. So hopefully, you know, this will be one of the first big tests, but nevertheless, you know, hopefully I'll be a little bit more involved, and, you know, we can save them, so.
My name's Mike Jackson with Professional Forestry Services, and, I've been on the tree board since it started. And, our business has been here for 53 years. We started in 1973. And, until we got our urban forester, which we've been fighting for 20 years at least, tree issue's always been tough. And the reason is just what you said on the mandates, is because and Anderson Place is a good thing if you haven't been out there. But I mean, that had 1, 2, 3 homes, mobile home, and I don't know what else is out there. But, on the weekends, they always have big parties and stuff. But the thing is with the trees is they're always in the wrong place. And it's just a tough deal. And, we fought for years to, you know, as a business and working on these developments, is to have the forester to get out there before they even submit the preliminary.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times they bring the preliminary in, And, the urban forester says, hey, you gotta have a tree plan. Well, heck, they've been fiddling around with the development for maybe a couple of years already, and, they don't even know where the trees are. So, it's just an issue that's really tough, and it's, again, like Anderson Place, where some of those beautiful trees out in the middle of nowhere, have got trees that are, got limbs all the way to the ground. And to protect the tree like that, you darn near need about 1/5 of an acre. And when you get to the mandate, so many houses are gonna have to be
Right.
out there. Then you got the public roads that's going in, future roads that's going in. It's just a real tough issue. But anyway, we've been working on developments for all those years as a forester. And, if the trees aren't known where they are before the engineers even start on the project, it's just really tough. But at least with an urban forester now, and it's just too bad we didn't get these code adjustments or code changes several years ago. Because, we've definitely been talking about them for a long time.
Yeah.
And the reason that I even got involved in the tree board was Tumwater Hill.
Right,
And-
like in the eighties, right?
What's that?
In the eighties?
A long time ago. And Canadian owners, 5 parcels up there,
And they just,
but the big problem was, see, in those days, you had to leave, you were gonna leave the trees, which were 4 trees to start with, because the whole place had been logged in the 70s, 60s probably, and it was full of maple clumps. And in those days, maple clump was like 15 trees. And one of the things we got changed through the years was that we went with a canopy. So if you've got a canopy of those kinds of trees, they're just, each one's just one tree. And, instead of, like we had up there, was hundreds, to the acre. But the thing was, up there, they had to set aside, I think it was 10% of the area or 5% of the area, whole area, for a park. And so we put everything in that area.
Right.
Problem is, the area was still maple clumps, basically. There's a couple trees out there, but most of them are all. But the whole thing with that project, which started the tree board, was Walt Jorgensen was on the city council. And they started that project before they had their erosion control in. Because, hey, they were gonna cut everything off anyway, because there weren't any good trees to really save. People didn't look at it that way.
Right.
Because now it's stripped, no erosion control, rain like hell, down the street and everything else. The people were in an uproar. Tree board was formed.
Yeah.
So,
Nancy Kirkpatrick was on the tree board too, or historic preservation. Nancy Kirkpatrick?
in the very beginning,
Yeah.
I don't even
And her and
recall.
Pete met, that's why they started getting involved.
So,
Thank you for that background.
Brian Grantham, been on the tree board, I think about 15 years, maybe 16, remember. But yeah, we've gone through, tried to get a couple iterations done for just the tree protection, and we put healthy in front of the tree at one time, that they could save any tree as long as it was, whether it was alive or dead. So I know that was a big thing, but, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the new code kind of helps with that. And I know, like, one of the biggest challenges is trees down or die and never get replaced.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but much like Mike, I mean, I'm a landscape architect. I work for developers and civil engineers, and, you know, it's always this kind of constant battle on how to make sure that we follow the code and that we try to save the trees that we can save.
Sitting in Historic Commission, I was wondering if you guys, especially from the beginning, if you have a master list of historic trees that you have listed on a map or a listing of it, or
We have a heritage tree map. The only tree that is considered historic that deals with your board is that Davis Meeker Gary Oak. It's the only one that has both status. Heritage trees can be designated for it being a specimen tree, it being unique, it being associated with a historical thing, but it doesn't get the same protections or doesn't follow your code, it follows our code for historical significance and groves of trees. I don't think we've ever had a heritage tree grove of trees that has been nominated yet, but we do have a GIS historic. Yes, so there is, on the city website under trees, there's a heritage tree, what's called a story map, that has a map of all of the different heritage trees, where they are, some information about each of them, including any information that was associated with their nomination, their size, their age, qualities, pictures. I think all of the pictures are when they're not in leaf, but if anyone wants to go out this time of year and get pictures of the heritage trees, go for it. There is a process to nomination form. Anyone who is a Tumwater resident, staff, or tree board member can nominate the tree. They have to get landowner permission. There's a particular form that you have to submit with the nomination, describe why. Then that nomination comes to the tree board. They assess it. It used to be that our contract arborist would go out and do assessment of the tree. Now we have an urban forester who will do the assessment of the tree. They decide if it moves forward to city council. Then city council comes with a recommendation, and they decide from there. What if it goes through all of those processes and gets approved by city council, then it is a heritage tree and gets added to that map.
How does it become historic?
Historic is a different process that goes through his board, where there's a certificate of appropriateness and all sorts of process.
and we haven't dealt with trees that much, although the
Just
Gary
one.
Oak tree.
Yep.
Bush butternut tree that finally fell over last year, wasn't it, or a year and a half ago? That was a historic tree that the Bush family brought over the Oregon Trail as a seedling.
Oh, wow.
And we have Jesse Ferguson was my uncle by marriage. He was on the Simmons Bush party also. And we have part of his property, and we have a couple of northern spy apple trees that he planted. And there's two of them still left that are still growing. Northern spy apples are good apples. So we have historic trees, and that's what strikes my fancy, is anything historic, you know. Being Trosper Road, people say, have you lived here all your life? And I say, not yet. But I have been here for generations. This family's 1892, named for great-grandpa. So we have a lot of trees on our property that I guess you could say are historic, but we got used to them. But we have some poplar trees, and I don't know if you take down poplar trees.
I prefer not to.
Yeah, they're rotten, and the wind's blowing them over now, and we don't have the money to have them hired to be taken down. It takes out $1,000 per tree, I think, to do it. Yeah. So anyway, we're interested in the Historic Commission of anything that has an attachment with some of the founders of this Tumwater. We have the Kindred apple tree that's over on the Educational Service District off of Tye Drive.
Mm-hmm. It was nominated to be a heritage tree, but we didn't move forward with it because of the quality of the tree, my understanding.
And I have a kind of a vision in my future in mind of having trees are gonna all die eventually and fall over. And so you have to take cuttings or off of them and have the next generation growing. And I'd like to put them all in one kind of a park, a living heritage type of park. This came from the Bush butternut tree. This is one of the Jesse Ferguson apple trees. This is the nut trees over at the Mills and Mills property that my grandpa also plowed around for Uncle Jesse. Anything like that is, to me, inspires me and gets me fired up.
We do have the offspring of the bush butternut at the Isabella Bush Park.
Yes, one of the parks.
Caterpillars were having fun with it last year.
Yes, yes, but we have begun collecting and propagating things like the American chestnuts down at Mills and Mills. I'm gonna collect a bunch of seeds. I'm even gonna ship some over to the American Chestnut Society. You know, there might be some weird genetic strain that is resistant to chestnut blight. And you know, we did all the seedlings from Dave Speaker Gary Oak. We gave them back out to the community. So, you know, it is something that we did last year for the first time and everybody loved. So we're just gonna expand and do
It'd be
more.
nice to have one of these little mini parks that have these with the description of each tree, what makes it historic, you know, describe the family that had the original one, and this is the sapling from that, and it'll just keep growing, and eventually they'll fall over, and you just do another sapling and put another one in. But make the trees be historic, with a story behind them. Without a story, you're just going by some neighbor's memory. Oh, well, I remember Grandpa said something about it, and gotta write it down.
Brian, while we're on the topic of heritage trees, there's been a few on my list that have been good candidates, recommended to me to various members of the community. I just haven't had time to go assess them. I wasn't aware that staff could nominate, so maybe I could put this on board.
Well, you can nominate it and he can assess it.
That
Yes,
would be
but say, I purposely have tried to stay out of that because I would be nominating far too many. So I just told myself, I would encourage it, but I myself am not gonna be
So I do the
nominating.
nomination, you can do the door
And
knocking.
that gives me, then I go, that's my job. So swing away.
Great relationship.
Yeah. Thank you.
Does it cost something to nominate? And I mean, go through all that paperwork?
It used
It
to
costs me time.
cost staff time. Yeah. We haven't had a heritage tree nomination since 2023.
Yeah.
I did the last one.
What was the last one?
Which one did you do?
No. It was the magnolia at the Schmidt House.
Oh, okay.
My bad. It was Jim.
Just so everyone knows, the American chestnuts out of Mills and Mills, those are nationally registered champion trees. Those, don't quote me, somebody who has more time than me can maybe do some more research, but I believe those are the largest ones on the West Coast, possibly, you know, I mean, they're enormous. There's no other national registered chestnut trees in Oregon or California, because those are the only states I had time to check. So I don't know about the rest of the country, but nevertheless, like, they are pretty extraordinary. And I contacted the American Chestnut Foundation. They were very excited, and they were unaware of them. So they want me to ship a bunch of seeds out there, this year, so.
When my grandpa was 10 years old, we plowed with a horse and plow around those chestnut trees, Bronco Jesse's. So that's kind of neat to just have that connection.
I want to respect the mayor's time because I know she has lots to do all the time. Any
Productive and engaged.
last minute remarks, either from you or from you all to the mayor before we excuse her so that we can keep going with our meeting?
Never hesitate to reach out. So when you see something, let's capture it. And then knowing the timeline of February, I mean, Alyssa will do everything to push. She's always pushing. Just remember, it's budget cycle. So we're starting our budget cycle, and that's why we have 4 meetings scheduled. So it starts in June, July, and then August, September, October, November. And we vote in December. Council does. So that's why it's February, because we got to do the budget, but there's an opportunity in the budget to have staff propose funding for the work that you want to see done.
Have requested funding be restored for the tree board so that the Arbor Day celebration doesn't come out of my budget. It comes out of a tree board line item, as well as hopefully some tree fund money to be spent on planting and looking at how we organize urban forestry and vegetation management as a city, because we have 16 different positions who touch trees. It's a little messy. I want to see if we can do it in a more efficient manner.
It's on my circling back list. So know that I'm a big proponent of your work, and like, I already have supported Alyssa's request, right, what that looks like. So we just got to get 4 votes from council.
Be nice to coordinate with Parks Board too, because it's parks and trees and
It'll
historic
be a
stuff.
We're
lot,
scheduling joint meetings, right? I think those.
not with the parks that I've been aware of.
Nice to have projects that we could all join together and get a park built or
Well, it comes,
Trees.
you know, the Metropolitan Park District, we meet every October, I think, or November.
Hmm.
And there's that list, right, of all the parks that we promised and that timeline. And so at some point, we gotta review that and adjust. So could that align with that parcel in Tumwater Hill? What does that look like? So creating those spaces to have those conversations and assess, because you have a new makeup of council. You have 2 new council members, so you have a different makeup. Right? And council decides the work, right? So something can go below and something can go above our list. So I would recommend, if you have an opportunity to get to know some of the council members, start building that rapport. If you want help with that, I'm happy to connect you.
Can be their branch office.
I know I need that little tiny drum set. But I would recommend, think about, you know, council and you know your peeps here, who would be the best, and I could do like maybe a little intro. And we can buddy them up. Yeah, thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
See you. We'll see you soon. We have our
Yeah,
lunch
yeah.
scheduled.
Yes.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye, thank you. We're at 3.
Can't believe the Jolt didn't come to this one.
I think they've been, watching the recording. Hi, Jerome.
Hi, Jerome.
I don't want to miss, you know.
The mayor, yeah.
Changes to the agenda.
Have any?
Okay. Approval of minutes. We get a chance to look at the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes as written.
Yes. All those approved, or all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right. Tree board member reports. Anybody have anything to?
Yeah, I kind of spilled the beans on mine with the mayor here, but like I said, with all the things that are right around the corner and what's sitting on that property, this moves in haste, I think, we're really shoot our opportunity. There's also, from what I gather, a lot of energy in that community. On that. Don't think that.
I think it just got approved for CBIT, didn't it?
I think so too. I think this development's gone through, I remember seeing plans a long time ago, but it was right when I first started. And
It was stopped in 2021 at some point.
I talked to Alex Baruch in planning briefly
Oh.
about this morning. They submitted the initial application in, I think, March, but it didn't have all the pieces that were necessary to move forward, so that's why it's going now. They were a little late in getting the water sewer availability. Apparently, there is less concern of it having environmental issues because the townhomes are gonna be built right along the road, leaving the rest of the property, yes, I don't think intact. It sounds like not intact from what you've seen. But that the erosion and, that they're gonna put it along the road because they learned last time for this property that not putting it immediately along the road and doing more development inside would be, harder, so. But like you said, there is a public comment period. Alex Baruch, one of our planners, I believe, is the contact person for that. It will have to go through a hearings examiner and a development review committee, both of which, the public can attend. So keep in touch, about that.
Yeah, I mean, if plans change, I think for us here, there's high potential for heritage growth. on that parcel. The first.
You do have to have landowner approval.
And owner could change.
Yeah.
End of report.
Maybe in the countryside.
I'm willing for any option.
Yeah, well, the mayor was very nice to come out, yesterday and walk countryside,
Where's Countryside? I'm sorry.
towards Black Lake. So you know where Mirasett is? So right, the neighborhood right after their set.
Oh, okay.
Yep. We've had some trees, we had some people take 2 trees down, they were denied by the HOA, they did it anyways. Brian tried to talk to them, they didn't listen. They claimed it was a sidewalk issue, but it's a long story, but anyways, they planted 2 trees that are not on our street approved list. And, the owner is, saying that it was, I double checked Sunday, because that's just what I was doing, it's not. So the mayor came out and we're trying to kind of smooth the process of it. And I'm learning a lot, but I'm also trying to educate people, but, you know, sometimes it's kind of hard. So anyways, the sidewalks, trees are getting removed, sidewalks aren't getting fixed, so, we're trying just to get ahead of it. I joined the HOA to make a difference, so fix trees and fix sidewalks. It's been hard.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing for so many neighbors.
Well, and you try to educate people that I've gotten 2 sidewalk estimates. We have 97 trees in Countryside, we've been taken down already. And they're 24 years old, neighborhood's 24 years old, none of the sidewalks. But the unfortunate part is, 4 or 5 years ago, our previous HOA, talked to an individual in the city, and they said, oh, if you take all the trees down, then the city, that'll move you up in the city's plan, and we'll fix the sidewalks. So that wasn't the case, and people just keep doing that. And even though we're trying to tell, hey, you know, we're working on fixing the sidewalks. This is time, we've only been on this board 5 months. There's a lot of people who don't appreciate trees as much as us. And we have maples, big maples in our neighborhood. They don't like the leaves in the fall. Yeah, it's really, a lot of people really love them. We've had people really upset that they've taken these two other trees down, because it really does change the whole look of the neighborhood. And people move there for those trees, and they love our trees. I mean, Brian even said it, we're the second prettiest neighborhood in Tumwater. He has the bunnies up in my tree, and
I'd say second pretty.
whoa.
I'd say second prettiest. Second coolest. Yeah. Temperature-wise. So,
That's, air temperature and relative humidity sensors throughout the city. One of them is in Tanya's street.
It's energy, it saves air conditioning and things, but, well, it's.
stuff balanced, yeah.
I could not do his job.
You can see all that a lot.
Well, have you seen
Yes, we don't,
I got those
yeah.
spicy.
Yes, yeah.
Came from Lacey.
So, yeah. We're trying to do something different.
How many of those are they salvaging, Brian?
None.
And what a missed opportunity.
So, yeah. Well, I should say none that I know of. So I saw lots of piles of mulch. So
Well, I was referring to, they've got a machine that will pick up
sidewalk sucker.
sidewalks.
Yes, we do not have one of those, and we are not planning on getting one of those here in Tumwater. Yeah,
But
exactly.
they're like a joint
we have 2 actually.
between cities to borrow equipment?
Not like that.
No.
No.
Could you do an interagency agreement type thing where like you have a contract in place that you could contract them to do?
I've had those discussions, and we are not going to be doing that. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I've broached the question several times.
Yeah.
So.
Is there a budget line item potential for acquisition of said machine?
No, they do not believe in said machine. So, we are moving forward with different options. So we are actually getting bids right now for multiple different things to price out so we can, I'm thinking about how to phrase this best. Save trees. in all honesty. So we're exploring, what does it look like if we were to do root mitigation, remove the sidewalk, do root mitigation options with alternative materials in concordance with concrete? What does silver cells look like on Tumwater Boulevard? What do all these different things look like? And we're just now collecting the data and getting prices and quotes so we can compare. What does it look like if we do nothing? What does it look like if we rip out all the trees and plant exactly the way they were planted before? You know, they're exploring all the options, but the sidewalk sucker is not gonna happen, so.
We got, the first estimate we got was from Slapjack in Linwood, and they do that, they lift it. Underneath it.
Yeah.
Their bid was high.
But comparing to removing and replacing that is remarkably more affordable,
Yes,
so.
yes, very much so,
Yeah.
very much so. Yep. There are spots like on Rawlington where we have some, and there is no.
Yeah.
But, once we fix them, I'm trying to tell, you know.
Any other tree board member reports? Well, I can give you all a report, and then I might ask Brian to share some of the things that he shared with our Public Works Committee recently. You don't have to do the whole presentation. don't you?
Yeah, that's fine.
So we have a contract, with a tree care company in Arborist to do the work, the year one, groundwork for the Davis Meeker Gary Oak. We had hoped to have done that last week, but it's unseasonably warm and without rain, so we have postponed the work until the rainy season. But we do have that under contract, to do that vertical mulching, the grading, all of that, year one work. So that is moving forward, but we did not want to stress the tree. Also, our, ability to have water to do the work is also, proving to be difficult. So that work will happen this year, but, not last week. It didn't happen.
The goal was to do it in November. Oh, okay, the goal is to do it in November, just so everybody knows, so.
Share a bit about the canopy equity.
Yeah, so I did a presentation to the Public Works Committee on the tree canopy equity program. I've found a neighborhood, in Tumwater, actually several neighborhoods, and I just kind of arbitrarily chose one. It has some of the lowest canopy cover, has some of the hottest temperatures in town. It's an older neighborhood, and essentially we're gonna go door to door and invite them to a workshop. If they come to the workshop, they can register with me. Now, I'm gonna talk to every single resident, and we have 4 different trees that they can choose from. And if they come to the workshop, I'm gonna do planting demonstrations. We're gonna give them a watering bag, we'll give them some mulch along with mycorrhizae, and really try to do everything we can to set these trees up for success. And the goal is there's 97 homes in there. I would be happy if half of them, you know, we'll see, fingers crossed. But I'm gonna be knocking on doors starting pretty soon, and offering to plant 1 of 4 species. So an Alaskan cedar, blue spruce, ginkgo, and if they got the space, a London plane. So anyways, we'll really try to boost the canopy coverage in these targeted neighborhoods we have. We have grant funding for all of this.
Can you share where the neighborhood is?
Yeah, it's called Furland.
Yeah, it's Furland Estates. It's up in the Mottman area.
Okay.
So
Is that on their property? Those aren't street trees.
it'll be on their property, yeah. So they have to, and that's the whole incentive on having a workshop and having, they come, like, that's them buying in, right? And we'll work with them to deliver the trees if they're unable to, or they can come pick them up. Like, you know, we really are gonna try and help them as much as we possibly can. So originally we wanted to even enter some sort of maintenance bond with them, but we just don't have the capacity to fulfill that. So, that's why we'll give them mulch, mycorrhizae, gator bag, and kind of coach them up as best we can. And in the process, actually, just, you know, trying to fulfill multiple things. Down at Pioneer Park, I don't know if you guys have been to Pioneer Park recently, the parking lot, they have the tree islands with the red oaks. 3 of those islands don't have red oaks, so I'm gonna do planting demonstrations down there so we can get some trees back in that parking lot. So, you know, these are all things I'm trying to be as efficient as I possibly can, because I'm just, you know, it's Alyssa and I, so. But it's a very exciting program.
It's very exciting. Good for you, Brian.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is that grant funding still available for that?
Yes.
Yes, it's one of the deliverables for the grant. We have to do it for 2 years, at minimum, and then hopefully we can.
Wasn't that what they had originally pulled, or?
So it was on pause for a little while.
Yeah.
We weren't sure if they were gonna pull it. They have not pulled it.
Yeah. So we're moving forward. Yeah.
Still, paying for part of Brian's time and his benefits. It'll pay for this, tree canopy equity program, paid for some of his, tools and materials, including all those borers. And in 2027, I believe we'll have a street tree trimming, like grant program for folks that are, income constrained, but have street trees that they can't afford to, prune, but are causing issues.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting things for it. Milestone 1 was the ambient air temperatures. I have 8 of them around the city. We actually want to get some more. Milestone 2 was hiring the urban forester. So milestone 3 is the tree canopy equity program. So just moving right along.
So this is a deliverable, it's like a 2-year deliverable. Are you gonna target the next worst one next year, or?
already identified the second neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember the name of the neighborhood off the top of my head. So, but it's a similar neighborhood. Not a whole lot of trees, and they have space for them. So, yeah.
Does the city assign oversight for you to be on like a Crosby House and what used to be called the Henderson House, Brewmasters?
Are you talking about
Trees
for?
around it if you were.
I work with the parks often.
Okay.
You know, up until now, I'm not sure if we had any certified arborists on staff. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, but
Yeah.
I'm often pulled in many different directions throughout the day. So, I have been out there and looked at some of the stuff they've been working on lately, and we've talked about some of the trees up there, and I'd like to get some more in those big open spaces they have up there.
Yeah, there might be space.
Yeah, so, but that's a historic site, I believe, so I believe we'll have to get your permission before we can do anything there. So,
We'll support anything that improves the historic sites.
yeah.
Anything else that you want to report for under manager's report?
I can't think of anything, yeah.
Brian, a couple meetings ago, we had tossed out the idea of you looking into, undeveloped city right-of-ways as a potential area to shove more trees, and you
Mhm.
said something along the lines you're gonna look into it with that.
Yes, so I've found lots of undevelopable properties that I put a bunch of trees on this last winter. I planted over 480 seedlings. And my goal is just to expand the number to the thousands, because it was pretty popular. It was fun. Everybody at the city really wanted to get involved. And, you know, we can use wellness time and whatnot. So my goal next year is to organize it a little bit better, because I've been here for a little bit of time, and maybe get some more city staff buy-in, but I'm not 100% sure how it's gonna look yet. Now, city right-of-way is different, and that's far more complex. So, the answer is probably not, because they're waiting for development to come, and so we have more of thematic street tree improvements, or thematic, you know, right-of-way improvements, you know, 6-foot bed with a 6-foot sidewalk kind of thing. Like I said, undevelopable properties that we're permitted to plant on, I've already begun that process. Yeah, absolutely.
I thought of one more thing that we can update you all on. Brian has been working with an Evergreen student who has been interning with our department.
Yeah, I forgot.
Until June 15th, working on updating our street tree inventory, doing field work and getting experience, collecting GIS data in the field related to the trees.
Yeah, so NEMO, our current data is complex. It's sometimes it's not, click on, there's nothing there, or it's the wrong species, or there's a lot of missing fields. So last year I went around and I found where all the city maintained right-of-way trees are, how many there are, and what they are, because we didn't really have very good records of that. And NEMO, has been going to every single tree, updating the GIS, updating the species, the condition, and populating a lot of fields. Actually, we just met with DNR's Urban Forestry and Community Program, and they were very encouraged by all the fields we're occupying. So how big is the bed it's in, how far away from the curb is it planted, the roots being girdled, DSH, height, all kinds of things that I've been working very closely with NEMO, the students to get populated. This is going to be a many-year project for us. Hopefully we'll get all the city maintained trees done this year, and then next year I'd like to do the privately maintained right-of-way trees, and then I'd like to go into the HOAs, because the HOAs they have the most trees probably in the right-of-way in the city. All of our numbers right now, it says, you know, we're planting too many maples. Well, once we get that HOA data, are we planting too many maples, or wow, we've already planted way too many maples? We just don't know. So, you know, getting those numbers would be, you can't say how valuable that information would be. So, yeah.
I know the next item is public comment, and there's no attendees in person or online, unless, Don, you would like to provide public comment, but you've been speaking along with us, so
Yeah, just join in.
close that particular box.
On Arbor Day. None,
Right.
trees.
Yeah. Wow.
What was it? Like 35 minutes or?
22.
Two.
Yeah. So, yeah, very successful Arbor Day. It was very popular. You want to? No? Okay. Thank you very much for showing up. We also had help from Tanya was there to help set up. Alexis Quick in our stormwater department was also there. That day went by like that for me. So you have to forgive me if I missed anything, and please. Yeah, there was a line of people.
Yeah, I got there,
Yeah.
like, just before 10, and there was probably like 40 people waiting.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
normally takes like 2 hours to run out, 22 minutes.
Yeah. So next year we plan on doubling or tripling it and actually getting larger species trees. You know, maybe some Doug fir or cedars or something. I'm not 100% sure yet what that looks like. But, you know, we planted a couple other trees that were missing down at Historical Park. I removed a large alder for them last summer that required 2 trees to be replanted. We replanted 2 silver maples down there because they tend to like water a little bit, and it's really, really wet. And I planted it with a group of kids. And I've now run into these kids 2 more times. I ran into a group of young adults, I should say. Please forgive me. And they are really anxious to learn about trees, and they really want to volunteer. And so I'm trying to figure out how best to utilize their energy. So I'm not 100% sure yet, but it was a really productive day. We read some proclamations. I got to use my proclamation voice. DNR, Community and Urban Forestry Program, was also there, and they had a blast. Obviously Parks and Rec too. They did a rather sizable volunteer event. They were spreading mulch and picking up litter and all kinds of things. Like, there was a lot of things happening all at once. It was everything everywhere all at once, and it was a successful day. Everybody had smiles, and everybody was tired and went home happy. So, yeah.
If you're looking to get some larger species trees for next year, I recommend reaching out to the Webster Nursery.
That's where I got all my seedlings from. Yeah.
They're forecasting like a couple years worth of surplus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's where I got all my seedlings from that I planted. Yeah, I've a lot of experience with them. They're great. So, yeah. Oh.
Any other feedback, questions on Arbor Day 2026?
I mean, we should probably look into, like, kind of, like, WAG stuff. Probably look into things. Maybe there's a different poster company or something that, I know that people did miss those posters that we used to have. Maybe somebody else has something similar.
Yeah, you probably know. I mean, I was running around so much. Thank you for helping me in the booth again. I very much appreciate. And Tanya, thank you too for helping us set up and everything. Like, I'm sure you saw on the way out, like, it got real crazy real fast. So.
Service berries were the first to go, always.
It will be interesting to see if we do want to do larger trees. That, we used to have problems with it here. People want a small tree for their yard, they don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking almost the Pacific dogwood, you know, again, it's a native tree that gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Webster's doesn't source that though, so I'd have to find a way to get those. So, Tony, do you have any observations from Arbor Day or anything like that?
No,
I have no context. That was my first one, so.
It was the fastest I've ever seen the trees go.
Yeah.
Usually they're like, what are you here for? But
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm here.
Yeah, I have 10 acres. How many can I have?
Yeah.
I heard that question quite a bit. Yeah, so
Where'd you people, can we have a tree?
One per household.
one per customer, please.
Household. Unless we didn't have any, then they can come back and ban.
At the library. Take a couple.
Put free on the boxes.
Yeah.
We'll do it again next year, more trees, and we'll have more conversation about, details and swag and species closer to the date.
What would you, forecasting for next year today, what do you think would be the biggest hurdle in getting it as big as you want for next year?
I don't think we have any hurdles.
Oh,
We have to coordinate with parks because it's
Yeah.
a joint, held event.
usually. And we need to work on, just do it big and more.
I
Yeah.
did request more money, in the budget.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, the council approves that.
There could be an opportunity there, for board members who may or may not be interested in speaking with council members regarding budget matters as citizens. It also relates to our work.
I understand that the Historic Preservation Commission has a nice sizable budget each year.
Yeah,
I
we use it for the historic park and different, projects like the Gary Oak Tree and all. Had it for quite a while now. Yeah, for a while, we were getting bored, because people didn't want to put their houses on the historic register, and of course, it costs money, and you have to have all the regulations involved, and to do anything to your house, then you have to go to one of the city staff and all this. It hassle, but it's a historic town, and we passion for that local history. Helps having a road named after you.
Is there a unique, like, city revenue source that helps that budget, or is it just a council decided line item that
Yeah,
happens?
it's a council thing. We've gotten to know the council, and they know us pretty well, so once you're on their list, every year they seem to renew things.
What is the amount that gets allocated?
20,000 comes to mind, but it might be more.
For contrast, do you happen to know our?
It's under 5,000.
Oh,
It was like 5,000, I think, a couple of years. Maybe.
And then the last two was 0. Mhm.
This year we used, for historic signage for the Dame DeCandres, putting the historic signs on Old 99 and Highway 1 and the Talbot's Trail signs and those kind of things. Putting on that.
And we've also, I should probably share, the aggressive planting plan that I'm putting forward as well. There have been other private property owners that have come to me, and I put them in touch with other nonprofits that are going to be providing them with thousands of trees as well. So, I mean, this is not just me doing this, it's getting volunteer groups and other nonprofits that can't help cities, but can help private property owners. Next year is gonna be the beginning of a lot. So I wanna plant as many trees as I possibly can tomorrow every year. So I said maybe a few thousand with volunteer organizations, a few thousand by the city, and just keep at it for decades, right? So that's the goal.
Shall we move on to discussion of the tentative 2026 tree board schedule?
Sure, let's do it.
Right, I wanted to bring this to you all because, one, the planning commission is asking you to meet at their regular meeting time, which is not your regular meeting time. And in some cases, it's doubling you up for meetings for the month, so there are a couple months here where I don't necessarily have something planned for you. That's not to say that we won't have something to talk about. But I wanted to open up the conversation to talk about, this upcoming schedule. If you would like to, we planned to do the every other month, until told otherwise. You reaffirmed that in January. This is sometimes twice a month, so if you wanted to talk about adjusting your schedule, trying to make sure that we would have a quorum at these planning commission joint meetings, because this is where we'll be talking about the tree codes that we're all very eager to finally be resolved. So open the floor for discussion on what you think about these additional meetings, how you would like to adjust or not your schedule.
Off the top, I know I will be unavailable, for the 26th of May. Something forum this year or not.
We have to have a quorum for those?
I guess we won't.
Yeah. Well,
Yes, maybe with Charles.
Or if we get our new tree board members that have been
Yeah.
applying.
It's very unlikely that there's no way that we could have that by the 26th of this month.
You're right. Today's already May 11th. Today's May 11th. I just now realized this, so sorry.
Well,
Yeah. Oh.
I will touch base with Charles to see if he's able. Mike and Trent, would you be able to make that meeting?
On which, 26?
On the 26th of this month?
That's with the planning commission, right?
Yep.
these days are usually very busy.
The July 28th meeting, that is joint not only with the planning commission, but also with city council. We have a full-size intercity transit bus ready to move you all and any public members who want to come for the tour. So please do mark your calendar for that. Hopefully that's enough advance notice. And
What are we touring?
good and bad tree code examples.
Yeah, we had a list and then the list got changed and I don't know what it is now, so. Yeah.
Literally an intercity transit bus.
They'll even give me the microphone.
Look out for the right side.
We won't be getting out of every one, though.
Not in every one. No, I don't think,
What time is that gonna start?
I believe, at 6. I believe it's 6. I will double check.
So there was a list and then they wanted to change the list and I don't know what the list got changed to. So I was around for draft 1 and draft 2 is very different from what I understand, so
process question now, is it?
Yes.
If there is a quorum and we discuss board business, it's subject to OPMA, so how do you open that?
The general public can join, on the bus, They can hop on the bus and come with us. We will do our best to take notes. Thankfully, we don't do verbatim notes anymore. It's only action minutes. I don't know, you weren't on the board when we did our, field trip when I was scribbling like 10, 15 pages of notes when we had to do verbatim notes and I was trying to follow everybody in the dark. I'm happy that's not the case anymore. But yes, it will be we've
Okay.
already done a special meeting notice for the one on the 26th. Yep, 28th, it'll be open to the public. All of these are open to the public, but I know field trips can sometimes be difficult for that. Hence, larger than a 15-passenger van, a whole city bus, which I believe they're providing to us for free.
Yeah, that come out of planning commission budget?
Oh, no.
it's not ours.
It better not be ours.
It's not ours, so you don't have to worry about it.
August 25th meeting, I believe that'll be the first time that we will all be in a room together talking about the draft code. So I really, really, really want people to be there. You'll have the draft code, I believe, in the packet for the 28th of July, but that'll be kind of something to have in the back of your head while we go look at those examples. And August is getting down to talking about the language.
So what are we looking at?
They have created this magical crosswalk document that at this time is quite illegible, but we're going to work on making it legible. That's looking at the differences between our current code and the direction we're going for certain particular topics. So without seeing all of the language, it'll be talking about like the high points of where we're going, and having that conversation.
Landscape code, or is that the
All three, I believe. Well, no, I don't think landscape code was included in that. Remember?
Because, it's a different team now. We're
Yeah. So it's just 1224 and 1608.
And
Yeah. Yeah. I believe 1847, I don't think we'll be ready by that time.
so, do you all want to meet in July twice? Do you want to meet in August and September? You have an out if you want. If you want to hold them until we find out if there's something to talk about in terms of additional meetings, but I wanted to make sure that you weren't exhausted by the additional meetings from the planning commission.
Well, I think for August, weren't we trying to skip August
We were,
previous? So
but that's not entirely in my control.
maybe just the one, I think.
Instead of the September.
And we could still do the 14th.
What are you proposing you skip?
Well, we didn't have one in August, but we're gonna have to go to
Important one.
I mean, I suppose we could skip July.
13th.
Do you want us to have kind of our ideas for the codes before we meet with the planning commission, or?
So the ideas from the codes are the same ideas that we worked on in 2023. There hasn't been a shift. It's just the effort between now and February when we bring the codes is making sure that what we worked on in 2023 works with our new comprehensive plan, works with our new mandates for housing and the changes that we've made to housing to make sure, like, for instance, we were talking about having a tree credit model. So depending on the size of the tree, it's so many credits, and having a base number of credits for every property. Now, if we have smaller properties to meet density, we need to calculate what the minimum tree credits would be for that kind of site.
Yes.
I live on less than 1/10 of an acre, like 0.09. Could I have 6 tree credits arbitrary? That would be like 4 trees. Probably not. We don't even have 1 tree on my property. We have great neighbor trees, but we want to make sure that the expectations of us in terms of the number of trees on a parcel is actually possible with the parcels kind of the plats.
Yeah. And
Meet density housing goals.
we've also gone into as much depth as size and even unique species. So like Pacific Madrone, Pacific yew are worth far more credits than a cottonwood. So it has some credit. It has some credit. So
I enjoyed looking at one on, I went to Nisqually for a break today,
Oh, good.
and
Yeah.
was really appreciating the large cottonwoods there, but
Makes great horse stalls. The horse will not chew on
oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
trees.
I know that well, we don't get into it.
would you like to keep the schedule as planned and only cancel the July 13th and September 14th meeting if there is no business?
Do we need a motion?
Make official,
So moved.
okay?
Seconded? Seconded by Tanya, okay, for the motion of canceling our July 13th pre-board meeting and our September 14th. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Are you sustaining, Mike? No. That's excused. Motion carried.
Now, obviously, if you have questions in the meantime, please reach out to us. You're going to be getting lots of fat documents to review and read. So, yeah.
But now, the rest of your year is tree code and then success reporting in November. Hopefully, a good use of y'all's time. So the next meeting is like 2 weeks from now, on the 26th. And I understand Brody and Tanya won't be there. I will reach out with Charles to see if we have a quorum. If not, we need to redo the notice, which we can do.
Where will that be?
Here, it'll be Tuesdays, but the same time, same place.
Yeah. Well, there's the Monday, the day after.
And I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn. And all those in favor of adjourning? Seconded. It doesn't. Really? Yeah, that's adjourning the meeting. Hey. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
My favorite.
Yeah, I don't know why, but.
Okay,
responsibility are those trees along,